The Unteachables by Gordon Corman. Chapter 7. Kiana Robini. I'm still in SES 8. Well, technically, I'm in nothing since I never enrolled in school. Back on the first day, Chauncey turned out to have the stomach flu. That's why he barfed. There needs to be a reason for him to paint the town. So Stepmonster never showed up to register me. That night, eating takeout pizza for dinner while feeding Chauncey medicine out of an eyedropper, she asked me, Kiana, did you get everything straightened out with the office? Geez, Louise, my father explained. You were supposed to take care of that. Chauncey got sick, she began defensively. It's okay, I interrupted. It's all taken care of. I'm still not sure why I said that. Nothing is taken care of. There is no such student as Kiana Robini at Greenwich Middle School. If I had any teacher besides Mr. Kermit, I would have been busted on day one. What's more, I'm in the Unteachables. Oh yeah, it's called the Self-Contained Special Yada Yada Yada. But that's just code for burnouts, nitwits, rejects, and behavior problems. Plus one displaced Californian. It goes without saying that I don't belong. I've kind of boxed myself into a corner, though. It wouldn't be hard to switch out since I was never really switched in. But then I'd need Stepmonster to register me for real. And I'd have to explain what I've been doing for the past 2 weeks. It's not worth it. I'm a short timer anyway. I've never changed my address from Los Angeles, so no one will ever find out there's a girl living here who isn't enrolled in school. And believe me, Mr. Kermit isn't going to notice that he's got an extra kid in his class. Most of the time, he doesn't even notice he has a class. I'm not learning anything. But even if I wasn't in genius classes, I don't think there'd be much this one-horse town can teach me in 2 months. Could be even less. Mom says her movie is going really well, which means I could be back in California even sooner than I expected. Fingers and toes crossed. In spite of all that, I'll have to admit, I'm fascinated by SES 8. It's not a good class. Not even close. It's kind of an interesting one, though. I always assume that kids who end up in programs like that are just plain dumb. Not this bunch. They have quirks, sure. But unteachable? I don't see what's so terrible about them that they can't be with everybody else. Well, maybe Aldo. Anybody who can get that mad at a locker and all that. Still, when I look into Aldo's eyes, which are green, by the way, I see a person who doesn't want to be so angry. Anyway, if the kids are a little strange, they're not half as strange as their teacher. I use the word teacher very loosely. That's another problem I have about calling them the Unteachables. How can the school know they're unteachable if nobody ever tries to teach them? It's been 2 weeks and Mr. Kermit hasn't taught anything yet. He barely even speaks. He doesn't like kids, and he doesn't seem to be fond of other adults either. Yet, there's something cool about him, too. Nothing throws him. Except maybe Vulvazelas. Anybody who could put out a trash can bonfire with a cup of coffee and never mention it must have ice water in his veins, even by LA standards. And just when you think you've got him figured out, something new about him comes out. Like his secret past with Mrs. Fountain's mother, or when he fought like a tiger to get Barnstorm included into the pep rally. Now, Barnstorm is fully reinstated to the Golden Eagles. He even stands on the sidelines at football games, leaning on his crutches and dispensing advice to the players. He has Mr. Kermit to thank for that. One day, Barnstorm is off on a team meeting when Miss Fountain pokes her head into the room. Mr. Kermit, she calls, my group is about to have circle time, and we were wondering if you and your students might like to join us. Circle time? He repeats, mystified. I stare at our teacher. How could anybody in the school business never have heard about circle time? You know, I explain, like the little kids do. It's not just for little kids, Miss Fountain corrects. It's for everybody. Positive reinforcement is something you never outgrow. Think of how much better our world would be if national leaders would only sit in a circle and be kind and civil to one another. So we all troop over into room 115, and let me tell you, that class doesn't look too thrilled to see us coming in the door. They're seventh graders, only a year younger than us, but it's a major year for growth spurts, and they seem to be a lot punier. Plus, we have a reputation. That was obvious from the VIP seats they gave us at the pep rally and how quickly we got thrown out at the first sign of trouble. Miss Fountain students are intimidated by us all. So you can imagine how they feel about Elaine, the school subject of school legends about force feeding people pages of their own textbooks and pounding them with uprooted ficus trees. Plus, she covers literally 30 degrees of the whole circle. There really is a circle, marked off with yellow tape in the floor. And in the middle is a smiley face, also in yellow tape. If my friends in LA could see me now. On second thought, God forbid, kid drivers, Unteachables, and now this, Greenwich sure is some town. Mr. Kermit doesn't want to sit on the floor with the kids, but Miss Fountain does it, so he has to too. There's a lot of groaning as he lowers himself down and a crack that might be from a hip joint. He balances the bucket of coffee precariously on his lap. The room is like an overgrown kindergarten class. Bright colors blaze from every wall. There are class lists with multicolored star awarded. Every single piece of information comes in a voice bubble emerging from the mouth of a happy cartoon animal. Susie the science snake and Harvey the hall pass hippo. I'd probably like it if I was about Chauncey's age. Mateo does like it. He lives his life through fictional characters anyway. He lingers in front of the big posters, drinking in the detail of vibrant caricatures. Mr. Kermit has to order him to take a seat in the circle. Miss Fountain even has a real animal. In the glass terrarium on the corner of the room, under a sign proclaiming him to be Vladimir, is some kind of lizard that's about 8 inches long. A miniature Gorn, Mateo blurts. He's a gecko, a 7th grader corrects. Parker snaps his fingers. Like that lizard from the TV commercials. He's a gold dust day gecko, Miss Fountain explains. You can tell by the flecks of the yellow in his scales. Gorns are from Star Trek, Mateo supplies, although nobody asked for an explanation. They're a reptilian race from Tau Lacertae 9, advanced enough to have mastered space travel. A loud snicker comes from one of the 7th graders. Class, let's welcome our new friends to the circle, Miss Fountain announces. Who has a compliment to offer? Somebody's feet stink, Aldo complains. Mr. Kermit glares at him. That's not a compliment. Yeah, I know, Aldo concedes, but something smells pretty ripe around here. Maybe it's Gorn's cage, Mateo puts in. A compliment, Miss Fountain goes on, as if no one else has spoken, is a positive comment, well done, to make people feel good about themselves. Try again, Aldo. Aldo is thinking so hard that his face screws up, like Chauncey's when he's going to the bathroom in his diaper. He looks all around the circle and comes up empty. I know I'm just a short timer, and it's pointless to care about people I'll never have to see again once Mom finishes shooting her movie. But my heart goes out to Aldo, who has this red hair that won't stay combed. How must it feel inside when the closest you can get to saying something nice involves foot odor? From the opposite side of the room, a low voice announces, That's a nice color. We all crane our necks to see who's speaking. To my amazement, it's Elaine. I beg your pardon, says the young teacher, distracted. Your shirt, Elaine tells Miss Fountain. It's a nice look for you. What a lovely thing to say. Thank you. Miss Fountain frowns at Elaine. I don't think I know your name. I don't think so either, Elaine rumbles back. Miss Fountain turns questioningly to Mr. Kermit, who gives her a blank shrug. That's Elaine, I exclaim. We've been in class with him for 2 weeks. Doesn't he know any of us? A few whispered murmurs of rhymes with pain from our class and the 7th graders. A voice sounds in the hall. Where'd everybody go? A moment later, Barnstorm swings into the doorway on his crutches, fresh from his meeting with the football team. I was wondering where you guys... Hey, check it out! Circle time! Join our circle, Miss Fountain invites. Why don't you share how you hurt your leg? I'm guessing it was a football injury. No way, Barnstorm scoffs. The tackler isn't born. Who can catch me? I was changing a light bulb in the bathroom and slipped off the toilet seat. I can see it coming, but I'm powerless to stop it. As Barnstorm plops himself down on the floor next to Aldo, one of his crutches whacks the red-haired boy on the side of the head. Ow! Enraged, Aldo sweeps off the offending crutch aside, knocking it to the corner. The rubber tip clips the cover of the lizard terrarium, sending it skittering across the floor. The Gorn, Mateo explains. Vladimir! Cry several of the 7th graders. The gecko is out of his home like a shot. He does a quick loop around the room, finds the door. Mateo frowns. Gorns are slow and pottling in Star Trek. I guess Star Trek isn't that much like real life, Parker observes. You can say that again. There's nothing slow or lazy about Vladimir. By the time the first 7th graders reach the hall, their class pet is long gone. I'm kind of impressed of how calm Miss Fountain stays. She's all business on the intercom with the office, describing the escaped lizard. Thank you for a very enjoyable circle time, Mr. Kermit says formally. We should probably say our goodbyes, though. I doubt she even hears him. Back in room 117, I'm thinking now, we're really gonna get it. But our teacher silently returns to his crossword puzzle, leaving us to the worksheets on our desk.